The missus asked me to help her design a hollow block mode, right, for 8-inch hollow blocks. Now explain to the viewers why you want a mode for 8-inch hollow blocks.
So, I got somebody who wants to help me build houses here in the Philippines, but they are not happy with the hollow blocks that's available here. So they want to make their own hollow blocks that is strong
Load bearing.
and load bearing. That's why I asked you help me design it, and I'll have it made.
Right. Well, the mistake that the welders made, right, these are not needed.
Right.
Those have got to be cut off. They shouldn't have been there, right? And so all you've got is 2 hollows. They put this on to add, so the cement, when they cement the walls together,
Yeah.
right? But I want to get these cut off. Now, the other thing is, the way this is designed, it bolts together, right? Now, what you end up with, right, if you hold that camera a minute, let me get my tape measure. You end up with a 16-inch, right, dead on, nice and square, hollow block,
Right.
by 8-inch, right? See what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's 8-inch deep.
Cool. Must be.
Okay?
Yep. Never seen it like this before.
No. So what happens is you put them on a board,
Right.
You put these in that are for your hollows. Right? It's all filled up and compacted down. Right? Now the only variable is not going to be the size of the block. They're going to be uniform. The only variable is going to be the thickness of the block. So the depth and the width is going to be uniform. So when you cement them together, they will fit perfectly. You're going to have a perfect straight line because this never varies.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
And only the thickness varies, and if it varies a little bit, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right? Because that'll get covered in the rendering. And 16 blocks to 1 bag of cement this is going to be.
Yeah.
Right? Now, and because you notice how it's screwed together here, you unscrew it and knock it apart. Now, the other problem you've got, right,
Yeah.
is these blocks, this is all going to be solid concrete. Those are going to be taken out. Those are at fault. They were added by the welder and not needed, so they've got to be taken out, all ground down. Right? The problem you've got, to cut an 8-inch block, cut this block, you're going to have to cut through all that concrete. So another mode is going to be made, which is a half block, with just one of these.
Okay.
Right? So when you build, right, you can make your end blocks and they all fit together. And because they're completely flat, you don't use so much muck and they can fit together better. You don't want a gap and chuck them like they do. You don't need much muck because they're so solid,
Okay.
solid load-bearing concrete. So that was the design I come up with here,
That is
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good. I haven't seen this size before.
right?
And then I think this is what they mean when they want to make their own hollow blocks.
Now the other thing is, right, these are slightly chamfered, so that makes them easier to get in and out, right?
Right.
In a perfect world, I would have had them perfectly square, but I can understand it would be hard to get in and out. But that block, that machine there, that 5mm metal, will last generations. It's not just one generator, that lasts generations.
It's very thick.
Right? Now I'm going to go and get another one to show you the problem with these hollow blocks that you buy.
Okay.
Just bear with me a sec. That's meant to be a commercial hollow block for manual operation. What happens, you fill them up with sand and then you push them out. So they actually, when they're operated, they go on a log that way round. Right? So you fill it up with sand
Right.
and cement, turn it over, and you use this handle, see this handle here?
Yeah.
To push the hollow block out. That is how they operate. Now this metal here, right, you can see is half the thickness of that. Right?
Yeah. It is.
And they've used thinner metal, as you can see, on these. Now this so-called can make thousands of blocks. Now that's the standard blocks for the hollow blocks that you see. Right?
Yeah.
And this is a 6-inch. But now if you look at the gap, you've only got, if you look in there, only got half an inch of concrete coming down to about an inch on the hollows. You've got 1.5 inches, I suppose, there. Hang on, let's get a tape measure out. That's 6. Even this one here is at a square. Right?
It's not even then.
No, it's at a square. And so when you fill that hollow block up, the variable is not the length, the length's uniform, right? This part here, which I call the depth on this one, is uniform. It's the height that's variable. So they vary by how much you pack them in and how much you fill up the sand, right, and how much it compresses when they're drying. And so that's when you line up all your hollow blocks, they vary. They're not all the same size all the time.
No.
You
It's
don't
true.
want this to be the variable, you want this one to be the variable, which is how that
This one.
is designed.
Okay. The one that you designed.
Yeah.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think of our hollow block mold? This one here is designed by my husband, Old B, and this is the commercial one that you can buy in most steel places here in the Philippines for manual hollow blocks. And you can see even the grade of the metal that's been used is so different.